Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the love outlook reading for Capricorn. And this is going to be for Capricorn and their significant other. So this is for a Capricorn who is in a relationship with someone, or certainly has a particular someone in their heart if they're trying to call in a relationship or call their love into them, or perhaps even reconcile. Whatever the case may be, this is for a Capricorn who knows who they are in love with, right? Now, I'm using the new Island Time Wellness deck, or Love Oracle deck, which I found on Etsy, and the link is in the description. I really love this deck. I did do an unboxing, and I'm going to be using this deck in my readings for a while now to give the Romance Angel cards a break. And yeah, let's just see what your reading is for February. We're going to pull out 2 Love Oracle cards for you. And then we'll get into your animal spirits and your spread. Twin flame. So this is a twin flame connection, right? Of a connection of balance, right? A beautiful connection, a connection that really complements each other. You complement each other. This is a twin flame journey. Now, what is your other? The snake. Competition, enemy, right? Being clever, malicious. Look over your shoulder. The other woman. Someone is being sort of duplicitous. Again, competition. We'll see exactly what the nature of this these messages are for you when we get into the rest of your spread. All right. Let's go ahead and pull out your animal spirits to see, because this could pan out anyway. Let's see, what animal spirits is Capricorn working with this February in the area of love? Show me. For them and their partner, their loved one. Don't forget to check placements of your other planets, because this is just Capricorn energy. If you are having, for instance, Capricorn Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or Mars. If you have another placement in your rising, or if you have a Pisces Moon, maybe that your Pisces reading is going to resonate for you more. Do apologize any background noise. The city is like busy today. All right, your first animal spirit is the otter. Wow, so this just came out for your sister sign, Virgo, right? I just did the Virgo reading, and the otter was one of the animal spirits. Very nice. And we have the grasshopper taking a leap of faith, right? So grasshopper energy, interesting. Let's take a look at these 2 beautiful animal spirits briefly, and then we'll get into your spread. So this is really nice, right? So the otter spirit and the grasshopper spirit. The otter spirit, I would say, is absolutely a water elemental, and I would say that the grasshopper spirit is definitely an air element, right? Now, the reason why I say this is that the otter spirit, of course, is so affectionate. Otters mate for life. They touch each other. They're very tactile. This is the animal spirit that comes in at a time when, you know, we are being reminded that it's, you know, be tactile in your relationships, your friendships, your love relationships. You know, wherever there is love, and, you know, whatever, depending on the boundaries, obviously, but certainly, you know, express your love in a very tangible way. You know, show people that you care. You know, say the words, tell them that you care. You know, if you have friends, give them a hug, you know, be affectionate. And certainly if you're in a love connection, make sure to take time to be physical with each other. This isn't just talking about sex. This is talking about affection. Showing someone real affection, right? In a relationship, touching their hand, wanting to be close to them. This is a really powerful energy that can come in, that can really sort of stabilize a relationship. It can fortify a relationship and make it stronger, make both partners feel much more confident. And it's just an animal spirit that is coming in to remind us of that. Now, the grasshopper is all about sort of taking a leap of faith right now, right? following your heart, following your intuition, because right now luck is very much on your side. Things are happening in a way that is maybe new and exciting for you, and it does maybe require a certain leap of faith right now because you don't know what's going to happen next. But the grasshopper reminds you to follow your intuition, follow the voice in your head, not necessarily so much your ego voice, but your heart voice that really tells you, you know what, this is something to go for. I want to go for this, right? Or to try, right? So really talking about having faith, having faith, having the desire to follow that faith or that intuitive feeling that you have, right? So let's get right into your spreads, all right? So this is all very sort of in line with the twin flame message that some of you are with a twin flame, a very strong twin flame connection. Perhaps there is affection that is needed and a bit more faith and trust that things will work out. But we're going to see if we can figure out what that snake energy is all about, because that could certainly be somebody else perhaps coming in, or it could just be a feeling of hesitation or anxiety or mistrust based on like past relationships. Let's just see what we can see. All right, Capricorn, show me for February what's going on with Capricorn and their twin flame. Show me. All right, so straight out, Capricorn, you have Knight of Pentacles is how you see yourself, and your person sees themselves as Six of Swords. You see them as a High Priestess energy, and they see you as a Magician. You see the relationship as an Eight of Wands, and they see it as an Eight of Swords. Wow. All right, Capricorn. Wow. Very interesting read that you have here. And certainly there's something going on here that is not on the surface, right? It's definitely below the surface. You have two eights here, right? And these two eights are very strong energy. Eight of Wands is very chaotic. Eight of Swords is very sort of toxic in a lot of ways, right? And this is the position for how you both see the relationship. This is how you see yourselves, how you see each other, and how you guys see your relationship with each other. So let's get right into it, Capricorn. You're resonating with Knight of Pentacles this February. They're resonating with Six of Swords. Now, Knight of Pentacles, you're all about your job, your career. You're very single-minded about that. They, however, are resonating with Six of Swords, and Six of Swords is leaving, right? Six of Swords, in a lot of ways, it's really a desire to be more harmonious and to sort of be very proactive about getting to a more harmonious environment or a happy environment around like-minded people. But it's certainly the card that can indicate in a relationship that this person is leaving, turning their back, wanting to leave, and wanting an out, and certainly wanting to leave. And Six of Swords comes, it's after the Five. The Five of Swords is having a lot of sort of, oh God, tiring battles with someone who's very immature, someone who doesn't play quite fairly. Your person is feeling exhausted, I think, from this relationship for some reason, and they just want to leave. This is very, very interesting that this is coming out like this for you. It could very well be that, and I'm not saying that they're exhausted because of you. I'm just saying that this is the energy that they're coming with. Still, let me come back to this, because you guys still have a huge amount of mutual respect for each other. So this is what's really very odd. Capricorn, you see your person as the High Priestess, and they see you as the Magician. So you both see each other as very high-powered, high-level individuals, right? You see them as having this high spiritual and intuitive ability. And this makes perfect sense also, because if you are a Knight of Pentacles and you are one of these people which is absolutely focused on your career, your business, whatever that goal is for you that the Knight of Pentacles has, because this is the hardcore committed Knight. It makes sense that your person sees you as the Magician, because the Magician is also somebody who is very single-minded about manifesting his goals, right? He is also generally somebody who's a very high level at his game, whatever it is, whatever his abilities are. You know, the magician is someone who has a high level of talent or skill in an area and is using it to the fullest, right? So this is very much synonymous. Certainly, this is the kind of energy you would want to have to be a successful business person, or to be a successful person who is able to follow their goals and manifest them, which is what we'd like to see the Knight of Pentacles always working toward. So it makes sense that your person is seeing you as that way, right? You're seeing your person as a high priestess. Your person is indeed turning their back on strife and wanting to move towards harmony. It could be that your person is having a real sort of spiritual epiphany this month that they're wanting to work towards, because you're seeing them as a very sort of spiritually sort of elevated person. However, the other thing though about the high priestess is that she can come across as very cold, right? She can often come across as very cold, unapproachable almost, and as separate in a way, because she is so she's a keeper of secrets in a lot of ways, right? The high priestess is the keeper, you know, she has the Torah on her lap there, you know, that's symbolic of, you know, the secrets of the old Bible, right? The Torah is that section of the Hebrew Bible where, you know, we talk about the knowledge being encoded, right, in the language of the Torah. And so this is, you know, this is a strong symbol for her level of secrecy and her level of sort of keeping things hidden. Now, oftentimes the high priestess, we talk about that in terms of a spiritual understanding, because she is a highly intuitive and psychic energy. And she oftentimes talks about, you know, the secrecy is with regard to life, right? Learning and understanding the lessons of life. There is a secrecy there to a certain degree, because the only way to get to those answers is by living life, right? So it's not really a secret, but it is in a way. In any case, it's interesting that you would see her as this, because this is one of the first times in a reading where I have felt intuitively that you are feeling as though your person is keeping secrets. Like, you may indeed be feeling that they have a high spiritual sort of level or ability or quality to them. The flip side to it is, though, that there is something here that, and it isn't even so much that you don't trust them, but you do feel like you don't understand them. You feel like there is a high level of sort of secrecy from them, in a sense that they just don't open up, or they just don't let you know what's going on. And now, of course, they're resonating with this feeling, which is wanting to leave. And I do feel like it feels a little bit like snake energy here to you. And here is where it starts to come out, because I feel like for you, Capricorn, when it comes out that this person is maybe indeed wanting to leave or move away, or not even necessarily leave you, but perhaps just leave the environment they're in, which naturally is going to impact their relationship with you, I think that you're going to take it quite hard, right? I think you're going to take it quite personal. Eight of Wands is how you see the relationship, and so Eight of Swords is how they see it. Eight of Wands is having a lot of mixed emotions coming in. It can indicate a lot of sort of energy coming in, messages, you know, communication, but the communication is very chaotic. It's very mixed. You can't really pin down what the person is trying to convey, or perhaps one minute they're conveying a lot of love and the next minute they're saying they want to leave. It's a very chaotic, unfocused level of communication with the Eight of Wands. And so eight is always the number for boundaries and strength, right? That's what's associated with the number 8. And here with Eight of Wands, we find that boundaries are needing to be set, because this person that you're with, you're finding the relationship just becoming very exhausting. They see it as the Eight of Swords, which is also interesting. They're resonating with a little bit of this sort of toxic energy. Now, Eight of Swords is someone who oftentimes is a gaslighter. You know, and for those of you who don't know what a gaslighter is somebody who really causes a very chaotic and crazy environment by their behavior and the way they just carry on and what they say. They just cause a lot of havoc and chaos, and then oftentimes they blame you for it, right? This is sort of like an example could be like, if you're in a relationship with somebody and every day they come home really angry. They come home angry from work. They're talking about all kinds of problems that they're having at work, and and things aren't going right, and you're just trying to keep the peace. You may be just making dinner, coming home from work yourself, and then they create such a horrible vibe in the house, and you're trying to make dinner, you end up spilling something, right? Then they turn around and say, well, why are you spilling shit? What's wrong with you? Why are you a nervous wreck? And then they start sort of blaming you, right? Or using you in a way to explain this horrible vibe that's in the air, when the truth of the matter is that they're the ones who created it. They're the ones who created the sort of crazy atmosphere, the chaotic atmosphere, the unsettled atmosphere. And now that you are only just reacting to it like any normal human being would, they're now on top of it, sort of try to make you feel like you're the instigator, you're the reason why everything is upside down. This is a gaslighter. Eight of Swords is also the person who often plays the victim. It feels to me more and more, Capricorn, some of you may be dealing with somebody who is just a little flaky like that. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to pull some clarifiers, but I get the feeling, Capricorn, that some of you are dealing with someone. This person could be someone who considers themselves to be very spiritually advanced, right? They may be in that field, or they may be like, just one of these people who really sort of lives in that world. Like, everything is about energies. Everything is about how they feel at that precise moment. You know what I mean? Everything is about them constantly trying to find their harmony and this like intense work that they're doing towards it, right? Everything, and so they also then create a bit of a chaotic environment around them. This is like the type of person who 1 minute does want to leave. They want to leave because everything around isn't conducive to their spiritual well-being. But then they don't want to leave because they love you so much and they need you and want to be around you. You know what I mean? This feels very much to me like you indeed may be in love, Capricorn, with somebody who has a very sort of mercurial nature. I'm going to say very mercurial person. Somebody who just, their emotions and their mind is constantly changing from one to the next, and the level of passion is always up, whatever it is, whatever headset they're in, it's always important. You know what I mean? It's always very important. It's always the most important thing that's happening. And this is part of their sort of Eight of Swords toxicity, right? Because Eight of Swords is this type of person who's unable to see for themselves how restricted they are or how sort of toxic they are, because they kind of just react to the whole world. Everything is the rest of the world's fault. They don't really want to take responsibility for any of their actions. And I think that this is what you're dealing with. There's twin flames in the snake here, because indeed you do love this person, but their behavior is so erratic. And I think for you, Capricorn, you're starting to believe that the reason why they're behaving this way is because they choose to be like this, because maybe they are on purpose trying to be sort of mercurial and sort of all over the place and up and down. You may be just simply starting to believe that because of the nature of your relationship with them, because you just can't, it may be because you just can't believe that they're this flaky, or that you fell in love with somebody who really is this flaky. So rather than believe that they're flaky, you're beginning to believe that they may be doing all of this on purpose, right? Nevertheless, it feels strongly to me like one of these relationships where you guys are constantly making up. There's a high level of sexual attraction here, right? With Otter Spirit and Grasshopper. And there is a feeling with you. And I'm going to say this does feel like one of these epic and why it may be a twin flame as well. This feels like one of these epic relationships where it's like Bonnie and Clyde, or it's like Sid and Nancy, like you guys are always either like riding high, riding low, riding high, riding low, but it's very passionate. And the making up and the sex and the physicality is a very, very high level, which is one of the reasons why you guys keep coming back to each other. You, of course, are at a real sort of, material level, in the sense that you're really about your coin, your business. You may be the one who's making a lot of the money. and you may be also the one who's also financing a lot of these sessions or whatever this person a lot of times likes to get into, because this person is also going to be the type of person who's, you know, always studying something. So, you know, can't ever work full time because they're busy studying something. You know, they may have 3 degrees and now they want to study something else. It's like that type of mercurial person, in the sense that it's all about them just enjoying their life and living their life and the adventure of it all. And like I said, any given moment they're feeling. And so this type of person generally isn't the type who's just going to punch a clock and work because they need to. They're going to find a way to live life so they can just pretty much live it on their terms all the time. And oftentimes they will be in a relationship with someone who has the money to help finance this kind of lifestyle. There's the Devil and the 10 of Pentacles. For them is 4 of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords. Interesting. So for you, it is Devil and 10 of Pentacles. So there is a monetary aspect here. The Devil does indicate that you are feeling like this is, indeed, this person is the type of person who tends to sort of really tempt you, trigger you. Yet there's a high level of attraction here also, because I think you do see how creative they are. This is a very eccentric person, by the way. I'm not saying that they are so bad. Part of the reason, part of this sort of toxicity they have is kind of, I want to say, is a spillover from also how eccentric they are. Of course, they don't need to have all of this toxic energy if they were a little bit more grounded and worked on themselves. But nevertheless, there is this feeling that you and them, it's a real codependency. And Devil energy does talk about that, this feeling of codependency you have with somebody, where at one time it can be so exalted and the energy is so passionate, right? And then another time it's so sort of destructive as well, right? It can be so destructive and it can be so sort of codependent. And this month, this is really coming to the foreground. It's interesting, though, that you have a 10 of Pentacles. So it could very well be that this month, a lot of money is coming in. A lot of changes are indeed coming in. And again, I wonder why, you know, this person is feeling more sort of confused to you. It could just be that you're dealing with somebody who's just riding, like this month is going to be a very sort of down time for them. Their energy is going to be just very, very out of balance. However, for you, everything's kind of working out. You do have this money thing coming in, so it could be that this month you are actually arriving at your destination that you've been seeking with this Knight of Pentacles, with this 10 of Pentacles, because wealth comes in, completion comes in. And it could be one of the reasons why you're starting to really think about this relationship and the next step, because now that you are arriving at your destination and maybe getting this reward that you've been working so hard for, you know, you're starting to wonder about this codependent relationship with this person. Anyway, you do have Grasshopper here talking about making a leap of faith. And so I think in a lot of ways, this does feel like a leap of faith. If now that you have reached your destination with the money, are you continuing on to be with this person or to put up with this person? You love them to pieces. You know, and I think, I almost feel like Capricorn, I almost feel like you're just not going to like let them go, because you just love them so much. And I think for in a lot of ways, having reached your destination is going to make you feel like you can be, that you can make the relationship more stable. Like, rather than it being something that you say to yourself, well, now let me just move on with my life. I have my, you know, I have my money coming in. I've reached my objective. Why should I put up with this person? It's like you love them so much that it's, for you, you see it like an extra. You're like, okay, well, now I've got this reward coming in. I've reached my goal. Now we can really be happy because I can make this person happier now. I can do more for them. You know, you're always thinking about, I think, a way to make this relationship better and to stay with them, because Otter and Twin Flame, this is a strong connection. They, this month, 4 of Pentacles and Knight of Swords. Again, it could be that, yes, part of their sort of flakiness this month with the 6 of Swords is wanting to leave, is that they probably did come into this month with a feeling of worrying about finances, right? It could be that whatever, you know, it could very well be that whatever they're into, right, whichever way they are making their money, whatever art, if they're an artist, you know, again, I wouldn't be surprised if they are very sort of eccentric and artistic in that way. It may be that, yes, you guys are together, but it's like, it isn't an automatic thing that you're always giving them money necessarily. They also are very independent, right? And going to be wanting to make their own money. Certainly if they're an artist, and maybe make their own money from their art. But it could be that it's when at times that they're feeling like they're not making enough money, or they're feeling like their financial stability is being threatened. It could be at those times that really affects their emotional stability, right? It makes them even wackier and more sort of flaked out and more sort of, up and down and out of balance because of this anxiety for money. And it wouldn't surprise me that if it's during those times that you guys end up having problems, that they then end up doing really sort of, exhibiting sort of addictive behavior, more sort of toxic codependent behavior than normal, right? And then you perhaps have to ride to their rescue with the money, and then it fixes everything, and then the relationship is beautiful again, right? It feels like very much this kind of mercurial type of up and down. And so they're coming in with a little bit of that. Four of Pentacles is a desire for power and stability, but a fear of it not necessarily being there or it being threatened, right? And so this could be one of the reasons why your partner is again talking about, well, I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna go and do this or do that, starting to sort of exhibit this kind of off-balance behavior that inevitably leads to discussions of you guys not being together, which freaks you out. You don't want that. But yet the rewards come in, and so they do round off also with Knight of Swords. And so getting back to their two, this fear of sort of financial instability, they do have a Knight of Swords. Now, the Knight of Swords is the same as the King of Swords in the Thoth deck, right? So here we're talking about being very strict, very ordered, and very sort of rule, needing a lot of rules. And it could very well be that this is indeed what they need, right? Because this is what it feels like to me. This constant up and down with the finances, or this out of balance behavior that they start exhibiting every time they get worried about money. It can't keep going on. And so Knight of Swords comes in. I think this is you, Capricorn. You definitely come in as a King of Swords to them by the end of February, towards the end of February, because you lay down the law. You say, look, we're going to keep having this relationship, right? It's enough. Enough is enough. I'm going to lay down the law here with this snake energy. I don't want to have to constantly feel like you're either playing me or I have to run to your rescue. This is because the King of Swords very much is the great rule maker and the disciplinarian. And he also requires all honesty. So I think one of the things for you this month in February is that, yes, you don't give up on this relationship. You love this flaky, crazy, eccentric person, right? But you've got the money coming in to make things better, but you're not going to just let things go as they've been going. You're going to put the kibosh down on them just spending money whenever they feel like it. You're going to insist that they're more honest with you about some of their decisions. So like when these things happen, they don't just come out of the blue. I think you're just going to take a lot more control over the relationship and how it's going to go, because your person, again, is very sort of out there. They're always like going to be a little bit off balance. Like I said, they're probably a high level artist. They may have a lot of high level sort of spiritual ability, and that may all be valid and great, and they're a very special person, but there is a flakiness that comes with it, a difficulty that comes with it that can make this a very sort of difficult relationship to understand from the outside. I wouldn't be surprised, Capricorn, if your friends don't understand this relationship. They don't understand why you're with them. But I get it, and I'm trying to explain it. You love them, and there's something to be said there for it. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of these relationships that's very hard to explain to anyone outside of it. And when you're going through it, everybody probably is like, well, why don't you just leave? Why don't you just leave? Why don't you just leave? And it's like you can never explain to them why the positives outweigh so much of the negatives. Nevertheless, this is your reading, okay? So just take care. And if you do this in February, if you're resonating with this and you do indeed lay down the law a little bit, I think you're going to come out of this better. You're certainly going to come out of the relationship a bit better. It could be that the leap of faith that you have to take is that you can indeed bring a bit more order and discipline to this relationship so it's not so chaotic. all, and up and down all the time. All right, guys, please let me know if you resonated with this. Like, subscribe, and share the video if you did. Leave me a comment. It's a very specific reading for a very specific Capricorn out there. But for right now, I'm just going to say, Capricorn, have a wonderful month of February, and I'll see you next month for your love outlook. Bye-bye now.